Hello everyone, welcome to the course of Internet of Things, in short IoT. In today's class, we are going to learn the concept of communication protocols. So with respect to IoT, we use two types of communication protocols, in which the first one is HTTP protocol. So first of all, what is this HTTP? HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This is used by the web applications. Whenever any user try to search anything in a web browser, this particular protocol will be coming into the picture. So this particular HTTP will be having multiple methods of the data transmission. So these the popular methods of this particular HTTP is get and post. GET get, POST post. Okay. So these two get and post methods do the same job like a data transmission, and uh, the comparison between these two get and post methods have a slight differences. Okay. So get has a limit on how much data it can transmit compared to post, whereas post does not have any such kind of limitations. Okay. So if you see the diagram over here, we have an IoT device and which is communicated through the HTTP server, and two types of uh, methods or the parameters are considered whenever any uh, whenever any IoT device is sent some data to the HTTP server, it will be considered as the HTTP request. And once the request is taken by the server, it will be searching for the suitable result, and again it will be sending that particular information in the form of response, that we are calling it as HTTP response. For example, let us say, suppose we are using a Google browser, okay, and I'm searching for something. Okay, so whenever you search for something in a Google browser connected to an internet, it will be considered as an HTTP request, and whatever the keyword you have searched, that will be taken by the HTTP server, and the suitable results will be again sent to the desktop screen or the Google browser screen in the form of HTTP response. Okay. So all the links what you see when you search will be considered as the HTTP response. Same kind of concept is applicable in the IoT also. So IoT device, whenever it sends some information or data, it will be considered as HTTP request, which is received by the HTTP server, and based on the request, all the data which is sent again to the IoT device will be considered as the HTTP response, where HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Coming to the code of this particular HTTP, we have two methods, right? Get and post. So based on these two methods, get and post, we will be writing the code. Okay. Now, as we are writing the code for Arduino, where we will be using this HTTP protocol, so we will be using some set of external library, internet connectivity wireless, of obviously Wi-Fi, as we are going for an Internet of Things, and we are using a data publish model called HTTP, and we need to consider some standard functions. Okay, coming to the data publish, as we are learning about this HTTP. So we have variables to define the HTTP server with respect to this char server equal to www.httpbin.org. Okay. So this is how we establish an connection between HTTP server with an port number 80. So for an HTTP server, the port number will be always 80. Okay. And we have two functions, as we already said. One is the get and another one is the post, right? So HTTP get request is written as void do HTTP get, and this is a function for get request, and HTTP post request is written in such a way that like void do HTTP post. Okay, both are the methods used for data transmission only. Okay, now these are the functions to establish get as well as post request. And coming to the standard functions, so we already know, right? In the void setup, we will be initializing the serial port, where serial begin will be starting with the baud rate of 9600. So we are going to use 9600 baud rate, which where the number of bits transmitted per second. Hence, once if in order to connect the Arduino to the internet, we need to use a function connect to internet. Okay, and if you want to use a get request, as we already seen, do HTTP get function is used. Now coming to the loop standard function, in the loop we will be mentioning the HTTP response or the client read, all those things will be used. So see here, if client is available, so we need to print that HTTP is giving some sort of response. So we are printing like serial dot println is with HTTP response. Now coming to the client, if it is available, we need to read that particular data, right? So cat c equal to client dot d. So while client dot available, if the client or the HTTP server is available, that means we will be getting response, right? So we will be able to read that particular data. So in order to read that data, cat c equal to client dot read is considered. Okay, and whatever that is read, that should be displayed on the serial monitor. So serial dot write with respect to character C is taken as this particular command in order to print whatever has been read onto the serial monitor. Okay, suppose if the server has been disconnected, okay, so this will be the command if not client dot connected. That means if it is disconnected, we need to print disconnecting from server. Okay, that is what happening. If it is connected, you need to write HTTP response as a serial print. If it is disconnected, we will be disconnecting from the server with respect to client.stop function. Okay. So connection, without connection, what happens, we are going to see. Okay. Now coming to the output window. So if it is, once we start using the HTTP server, this is how the response will be. Server connected. If the server is connected, this is how it shows HTTP get started. Okay, and if the data is transmitted, HTTP get has been completed, we will be getting the response like this. Okay, now let's see, this is with respect to get method. Okay, the request what we see over here, and this is with respect to the request of post method. Okay, you can see here HTTP post started and HTTP post completed. Okay, so HTTP response we can see. This is how, if we the end screen looks if at all you use post method. Okay, these are the two methods how we use, and this is how the output screen looks.